Hello, thank you for watching. Very quickly, this will be about who, what, when, where, why, and how this video series, this YouTube channel is about. And if you're interested in true journeys, please subscribe to this YouTube video channel and like this video, please. So it's about rediscovering Christianity. I was raised Christian, but it's by maybe 20 years old, I had left that, even though I went to private school. Well, I'll get into all those journalistic questions and give you brief answers to them, and I'll belabor them in longer videos later, but not this one. But I will tell you the dilemma that I had now, the Jesus dilemma. So I want to believe in Jesus, Jesus being God. And I've been drawn back to that after many years. I've been atheist, agnostic, a number of other things, spiritual, I would say. I was anti-organized religion after being raised in the Catholic Church. Um, but I called myself an unconventional Christian, though the truth is I didn't believe, well, I didn't believe that Jesus was God anymore. I didn't know that he wasn't, but I didn't know that he was. I believed he was the most self-realized man ever. I believed in reincarnation, right? I believe in reincarnation. It makes the most sense. I'll get into that in other videos and when I talk about myself. Right? I'm not going to get into that now. But I believed in things that were not Christian. Yet I called myself because I had still some grasp of it. And I could not let go of things about it, not just because grew up that way, but because things still make sense in some ways. Some things more logical, some things more ephemeral, some things more visceral. Uh, I've been radical in my life. I'm 59 years old now, but I remember in the 20s embracing briefly the saying that there'll never be peace in the world until the last brick of the last church has fell on the head of the last priest. Very briefly did I like that saying, because that is really way too much of a radical and violent uh, description. But I've been through a lot of changes. That's the point I'm making. I was very anti-traditional at points. I rebelled, right? And that's pretty typical, right? And even probably even more common today. Um, but Jesus always had a special place in my heart, despite what I went through. And as I said in my initial video, that my favorite Jesus movie was and still is The Last Temptation of Christ, which was based on a novel written in the 60s, I think, by a Greek author. And towards the end of the movie, well, Jesus comes down from his cross because uh, this angel said he didn't have to go through the pain and die and be executed, and so Jesus was convinced by this guardian angel, this beautiful cherub, that he didn't have to do that. So then he could live a this normal man, life of a normal man, have a family and all that. And then and so he did that, and he aged and had his whole life for years and years. He became old and feeble. And then his old apostles came, well, some of them, and they said to him, "Why did you abandon us? Why did you abandon your ministry in us?" And and, and Jesus said, "Well, the angel said I could do it." And then Peter looked over and said, "What angel?" And Jesus goes, "That one who's in the room with them." He said, "That's not an angel. That's Satan." Powerful to be deceived by Satan, right? And well, whoever Satan is, maybe Satan is nothing but the dark part of your own psyche. But to be deceived, self-deceived, deceived, that's the thing. That's the main point. And then finally, when he realizes that he's been deceived by Satan. He can't even walk. He's so feeble this time, and Jerusalem is ablaze due to the fighting between the Jews and the Romans, and he crawls because he can't walk, and then he comes back to the cross, goes back in time. Remember, this is surreal and supernatural, and then he goes back to the cross, back to that time, what 33 A.D. where he was being crucified, and he crawls back up onto the cross and he accepts his fate. Uh, and he dies. He dies for us sinners. And he goes, it has been accomplished, man. And I said in that video, that first video, that I got down on the floor, prostrate, and cry every time. That's not true, not every time. A number of times I've done that, crying that I've been such a sinner. A number of times, but not every time. Almost every time. So it's very powerful. But I wanted to believe I'm connected to Jesus, but you got to believe that Jesus is God in order to be a Christian. That's the primary tenet. Um, and so I've been making my way back, in some ways, so a bit sporadic, but stay tuned well, I went back, I went to church, Our Lady of Guadalupe in Brooklyn, about a week ago, and it put me more of in a definitive posture, and things started happening more rapidly. And I went back there yesterday, and it was incredible. Stay tuned for what happened that prompted me to do all this a week ago, and what happened. It's incredible. This definitive religious journey that I'm having, I want it's wonderful, and I want to share it with the world. So I'm going to go into who, what, where, when, and how quickly. All right. I called myself a seeker. Now that doesn't seem to fit correctly. I have a hunger, a thirst, a changer, a beer. I'm a recovered alcoholic addict for a long time, and I'm seems like I'm getting back into religion. That's who, and I'm going to belabor that in the who video, but we'll move on now to what. What is this? This video series is an experiential share about my spiritual and religious journey, and basic information about religion and their different sects, especially as I explore them in my community. Right now, I'm going to be exploring scripture and my soul, asking cutting questions, and I'm going to share it here in real time with you. Where? Southwest Brooklyn, New York, Northeast United States, in my home office where I am now. This is not actually heaven. That's a AI background. And in the streets and churches and places of worship here in Southwest Brooklyn. Why? Well, I've stagnated and become indolent. I need a serious renewal. There was, there's walk to walk and talk to talk. I wasn't even walking the walk anymore. So something had to change. Life is good. I really don't have any serious complaints. I'm really grateful for it. But something's been missing, more than one thing. But certainly the spiritual side of it is missing, and now and it's coming to a head. And so finally, how is that? I'll be researching I'll be researching online, but I'll also be going to churches and places of worship and visiting them, and taking videos and talking to priests, and interviewing people, friends and family, people at the churches, and people, my own friends and family, and sharing that with you here on this channel. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe to the YouTube video channel, Rediscovering Christianity. Like this video, like the videos. And if you think anyone else might be interested, please share it with them. All right. Thanks for joining me. And I look forward to doing this journey with you. Hang in there. It's going to be a summer ride.